All right, hey guys, are we
Hello,
live?
everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I am here with beautiful Ashley Strand, who I met about a year ago, and we share a very similar passion. She likes to call me the inflammation king, and I call her the inflammation queen. And we actually met through a group about a year ago, and we realized we share this weird fascination about getting rid of inflammation in the body. And Ashley is a certified health coach and helps people reverse all sorts of conditions, helps people heal their bodies, and I do that too through different means. Well, in addition with this means actually. So I wanted to interview her. I actually interviewed her about a year ago on a webinar, and I wanted to bring her on a Facebook Live because I thought it was about time. I've been kind of resisting a little bit. The way we met, just quickly, thank you for coming on, Ashley. Really good to have you here.
Thank you.
The way we met was really, we got talking through this group, and we just connected, and I wanted to hear her story. She wanted to hear mine. And she told me her story, and it just blew me away. And it just so happened that someone I was seeing at the time was suffering from the same condition, and I just wanted to hear more about what she was about to share. So, Ashley, without me rabbiting on too much, can you quickly give us a little bit of your story?
Sure, absolutely. And I'm so glad to be on here. This is my first time doing the split screen, so I noticed myself like looking down at myself, like look at the camera. Yes, so yeah, we met through a very inspirational personal development group, and then of course, typically a lot of people that are into, living their best life are health nuts, because if you have all these goals and dreams, for your life, but you're not healthy, you can't do all of those things that you're wanting to do. And that kind of brings me to my story. So about 6.5 years ago, I had just moved back home from Los Angeles. I was trying to be an actress in LA, but my grandmother had colon cancer, and so I was determined to come take care of her, juice for her, cook for her, get her on all kinds of supplements, all this stuff. I was a big believer in the natural way, and as I'm researching everything for her, I stumbled upon a product that really helped me with inflammation. And who would have thought it was just water? Mind blowing, like what we don't know, like.
You've just given away the secret.
Uh-oh, sorry. There's no secret yet. But basically I had something called endometriosis, which is a scar tissue in your uterus and a lot of inflammation, a lot of, I would say also like toxic buildup as well. I became a health nut because of this, because I also had a lot of chronic fatigue and a lot of acne, and had gained 20 pounds after high school. And, some might say, oh, it's just the freshman 15 or college, but I was gaining more and more. 20 moved to 30, and I couldn't figure out, this was before I knew anything about health. So I first, started with getting rid of processed foods, eating more whole foods, more organic foods. I started learning a little bit about supplements, and I did start feeling a little bit better, but I still was tired a lot. I still had a lot of acne. I lost maybe like 10 pounds doing that.
How long was you doing that for?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years straight.
So you're pretty much clean eating, veggie, fish.
The only things I was a raw vegan for 2 years actually.
Wow.
And then that's hardcore.
That is hardcore. That's exactly what I was about to use.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I did lose like an extra 10 when I did that. Because the first year I just
muscle.
Yes, I was like, yeah, it wasn't healthy for me, at least. So then I added in fish and eggs and a little bit of raw dairy, like the healthy raw cheeses and stuff, but not a lot. But that was it. I mean, I did not touch processed breads, pastas. I barely touched any grains at all. I would have some quinoa and some rice here and there. nothing fried. I was hardcore for 4 years. And I lost I lost a lot of the weight. But I still had low energy and still had acne and still had this tremendous, to be quite frank, PMS pain, right? Because that's what endometriosis typically causes. It was tremendous. I would be in bed for 3 to 4 days out of every month due to that,
wow,
that pain with your girly time. And I was honestly, and I was working at a Whole Foods market. I was determined to help people with health. I had discovered turmeric, turmeric supplements, and that had helped me some. And everybody I gave it to, it seemed to help with inflammation and different issues. But I could not get people to eat better. They'd do it for a little while, and then they'd fall back off and have their pizza and beer every weekend. And then, and then in my own self, I was so frustrated because here I was like perfect eater for 4 years, and I still could not get rid of this pain. And I don't know if anybody out there has ever had this moment. Tell me if you have. Put a 1 in the comments if you've ever had a screaming at God moment when you're just like, I've had enough. I'm gonna put a 1 there. I'm gonna put a 1. Put a 1. Screaming at God, you've had enough, because you feel like you've tried it all. That's how I felt. I had even tried acupuncture and chiropractic and praying and meditation, and nothing. And so I literally said this to God. And if you don't believe in God, I said this to the universe. I said, I need an answer now, or I'm giving up on all this holistic crap. That's what I said. And I don't tell that part of the story because it kind of sounds crazy sometimes.
Sounds a bit
a little crazy, but I was like, I need to know if I'm able to fix this naturally, or if it's something I just need to go the medical route and go have a surgery. That's basically what I said. And then 2 days later, I got the answer. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
No.
I got the answer. That's the secret. We're not going to
Ashley, tell us the answer.
Okay. So as a health coach and as working at Whole Foods Market, you get approached with different products and different things all the time. And at least I had become a believer in the turmeric supplements, but there was so much. You are too. Yeah. And there's so much stuff out there though that is so hypey with no proof. All these magic juices and vitamins and shakes, and some of that stuff might really work. I tried it all. Anytime somebody would bring something to me, like noni juice was a big one for a while. Do you remember that? Supposed to help with inflammation. And it tastes horrible, and it did nothing for me. And I tried, you name it. I was taking tons of the acai berry juices and stuff. You name it. I would try it, even though I was skeptical and there was no proof on a lot of these things because I was desperate. But anyways, after that yelling at God moment, when I said, I need an answer now, 2 days later, my buddy, who was another health coach and personal trainer friend, he came into Whole Foods, and I'd known him from the health food store that he had worked at. And he said, Ashley, you need to drink this water. And I was like,
yeah, what?
Yeah, right. I was like, if this is just like that pH Essentia, alkaline water that's right over here on the shelf at Whole Foods Market, I said, I've tried that crap. It doesn't do anything, He's like, no. This is different. This helps with inflammation. It has an antioxidant that helps with inflammation. He's like, it does have alkaline minerals because you need that, in your water. He's like, but it's not that. It's not what that alkaline bottled water is. And I was like, okay. My skepticism was so huge because of me trying everything and just thinking, well, if this water is so great, why isn't it not pouring from every, fountain, and
yeah.
And I can go into the science of how they discovered this technology, but the basics is it mimics the healing springs. So like the healing waters in like, say, there's one in Telicote, Mexico, one in France, one in Germany. There used to be one in South Dakota where I was from, but they have now chlorinated it.
No way.
Yes, it's like, really? Like, oh. So anyways, story goes, I drink this antioxidant water. Now at the time, I have to give you this part of the story. I was so broke. I was making $10 an hour at Whole Foods. Top salesperson in the vitamin department. Because I was so passionate about, and they gave me an 80-cent raise.
Wow.
Woo! Like, not even
Yeah.
a full dollar. Like,
Wow.
I mean, so I was so broke. So I was convincing this friend of mine, this health coach friend, to give me the water for free after he had given me a couple gallons. I mean, I was coming up with everything. I'm like, if you can just give me a few more gallons, I was like,
to deal with him. Yeah.
that was for a lot of people to you, it was so funny. Because I was like, because he didn't tell me about payment plans. I thought I had to buy the system like all outright, and I didn't even have enough money for my own groceries at the time.
Wow.
And he believed in me. He's like, okay, I'm gonna keep giving this to you as long as you tell your story, tell other people how it helped you. That's all I care about. And because what happened is after a month of drinking, and now you guys remember I said for 4 years straight, I ate an anti-inflammatory diet, like perfectly to a T. So all I did was switch to this water. I was already a big water drinker. Switched to this water, and I was able to, and again, we have to be really careful that we're not making any claims of curing or healing. But here's what happened. I no longer had that PMS pain. The horrendous cramping and debilitating pain that I was dealing with in my, abs and my low back. My acne was gone.
In how long?
About a month.
About a month.
Yeah, right around there. It's funny because I didn't count. I wish I would have counted back then just for my own knowledge, but it was around a month. And again, not to be TMI, but PMS pain is once a month, so that's how I knew it was about a month.
Yeah.
And I had so much energy. I talked about the chronic fatigue. I had so much energy, and I also lost another 8 pounds, which I don't know if I needed to lose another 8 pounds, but I did. I think it was toxins,
Yeah.
And just had so much clarity of mind. And as I was doing this, my skeptic mind, I'm very scientific, prove it to me kind of gal when it comes to health stuff. I was giving it away to a couple other people that had respected, how I'd helped them with the supplements and everything. And they were saying how great they felt. Like, they're like, boy, my joint discomfort is like completely changing and my energy is changing. And my mom didn't believe me, but her skin was transforming because, it when you have an antioxidant and this water is more hydrating, you plump from the inside out. I mean, you start to glow.
When something wrong with your skin, it's an indication of toxicity in your body. It's like a communication from your body saying, hey, I'm out of balance, I've got toxic stuff going on. So when the water is getting rid of all those toxins, it's only natural for it to kind of clear up, isn't it? But it's incredible what it does.
That is exactly what I tell people is all I see this as is it's just the way that nature intended water to be. I actually have this weird theory that all water was this way until we screwed it up and, just like we did with GMO foods and,
Pasteurized the whole.
Yeah, we screwed up our water just like we did our food. And so this is just this technology just returns it back to the way it was intended. And your body is the miracle, not the water.
Right.
Your body, when it starts getting food and water the way that nature intended, it comes alive. It wants
Yeah.
to work better, you know, it functions better.
Yeah, I always say our bodies are designed to heal themselves when you give them the right fuel.
Exactly.
So the problem is we've got so much toxic stuff in our environment. So many toxins, food supply, water supply, cosmetics, deodorant, shower gels, environment, pollution. We're faced with so many toxins on a daily basis that our bodies can't do what they're designed to do. So we need to be really conscious about doing everything we can to give our bodies the fuel they need to heal themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I joke with people that don't eat healthy. I'm like, well, watch out. This water might be the gateway drug to health, because once you start getting some of those toxins out, you actually start craving healthier food.
Yeah, my clients all say the same thing. The more healthy food they eat, the more they crave healthy food. The less sugar they eat, the less they crave the sugar.
Exactly.
Like your body wants more of what is given effectively, and this water has that similar effect, doesn't it?
And I just encourage, nowadays what I do is I just encourage people to, instead of going, oh, are you serious? I can't have pizza. I can't have pasta. I can't have, and it stresses them out. Instead of saying that, I just say, well, how about this? I want you to try to put in as many fruits and vegetables as you possibly can. Literally shove yourself full of them. And then if you still want a little bit of that, try to get some sprouted bread, try to go the healthier route. But typically if you get really, really full on fruits and veggies, you don't want all the other stuff, so it's more of a putting in the good rather than forcing you to let go of all the stuff you like,
Yeah. Great. And back to the water. Yes. So the reason I wanted to talk to you again, I didn't even explain this to you. Recently, a friend of mine who's had jaundice has had phenomenal results with this water.
Oh,
like in the last month.
Tell me that. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So this is partly why I've got the machine here and I'm drinking it. But it's if you're totally healthy, and as far as we know, we're totally healthy, it's harder to see the difference. Although I do see it in my skin, but when I see it with someone else,
yes,
and I immediately want to share it with the world. So with me, I did see slightly clearer skin, but because I do everything else pretty well, I do vegetable juicing every day, and work out, and pretty strict paleo, 90% paleo, anti-inflammatory. I didn't see a huge difference in me, so I wanted. When I saw the difference in my friend, I was like, wow, I need to get it out there. And I thought for the last year or so, I've been kind of a bit reluctant to share it because, well, a few reasons really, the price point, and also, a few other things. So now I'm thinking, hang on, I've resisted for so long, and I've deprived people of this knowledge. So now I want to kind of share this with everyone because I think it's so important to know about it. So
I totally relate with you on that, Neil, though, because like I told you, I was making $10 an hour when I found this, and I was going, and again, my friend didn't tell me there was a payment plan. I thought I had to come up with the full lump sum, and I was going, oh my gosh, like this is expensive, back then it was to me. And so I was afraid to like tell people what it cost or something like that. And now, like, I'm not afraid at all because I really feel like it should be worth like 3 times what it's worth.
Yeah. It is life-changing. It is literally life-changing stuff.
Right.
Sorry, carry on.
No, and then I totally get it. And, any time that you feel you're promoting something, whether it be an affiliate, we were talking about Bulletproof Coffee affiliate program earlier, or it's network marketing, like you always get so nervous that people will think that you just want to promote this product because you might make a commission, and that is, I think, maybe where you were at, because your heart is so very pure in wanting to help people. I knew that from the get-go. And I was the same way, and I saw it in you, and I was like, oh man, like I could feel that, what you were saying. Oh, I don't want people to think that I'm just trying to sell them, because I knew you really just wanted to help them. And that's the truth. you have to do something you believe in. And this day, you know, we're here on social media. Everyone's doing things through online, you know, and if we recommend something, it's truly because we believe in it. You know, it's not, if I wanted to just make a buck, you know, I've had several different companies come up to me and want me to promote, but I will not promote it if I do not believe in it 110%.
I'm exactly the same, 100%. So let's bring this back to the water.
Yeah.
What are the main effects of this water? Because it's anti-inflammatory and it's loaded with antioxidants. And something I tell my clients is the water that comes out of your tap is basically, it's not only got remnants or, you know, remainders of drugs, hormones, antibiotics, chemicals, you know, fluoride in the water, it's also dead. So by the time it's got from the water filtration system to the tap, it doesn't have the healing properties that water should have.
Exactly. And you know, a lot of people think, well, I just need to filter it really well, right?
Yeah.
Which, because that's all we knew for the longest time. You know, and I've drank filtered water for like 11, 12 years, like before it was cool, you know, like my parents were like, yeah, like people were like, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, I can't drink tap water. I'm like, why? You know? So, but the truth is, even if it's filtered, it can still be dead, like you said. And that's not a scientific term, but
no, I kind of made it up.
The way I correlate it for people is, you talked about fresh juicing. You know, there is a difference between a fresh pressed juice and the stuff that's been sitting on the shelf for, you know, forever.
Yes. And I think I've even noticed this in the last week. I think I've got a bit of a cold for the first time in about 4 years.
Wow.
It's raining in on my fresh pressed vegetable juices, and it showed up. You might be able to hear it in my voice slightly, but the first time in 4 years. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah. Sadly, with marketing these days, like, you know, now there's all these juices at Whole Foods or the health stores that say cold pressed, but they've been sitting there for at least 2 weeks. You're thinking, you know,
how does that happen?
Yeah. So, but I think everyone here intuitively knows that you have to eat fruits and vegetables like right away within a week. You know, they're perishable. Same with the juice, same with this water. Yeah. You have to drink it within 2 to 3 days of it coming out of the system. So we maybe don't have time to go into it now, but the technology, all it is they found a natural way to mimic what's happening in the earth at these healing springs. And so far in my 6.5 years of research, this is the only company that does it naturally. There are a lot of companies out there that are trying to, you know, like the bottled alkaline water companies, or they're trying to add different chemicals or minerals to create the same thing, instead of just recreating what's happening in nature and letting the process bring the life back to the water. That's how I like to put it. Yeah. So basically you asked what is the properties, and that is it inside the system. After it filters it, it's splitting it. It's a slight form of electrolysis. And it splits it. And over here, you've got your antioxidant, alkaline, super hydrating drinking water. And out the other hose is coming the acidic, you know, skin water, the one you can clean with. And it's literally splitting it and bringing it back to life. Like, you know, dead back to life is how I like to put it. That's not scientific, but that's
good.
Best metaphor. Yeah. And
by these titanium plates, is that right? Platinum
covered titanium plates, and they're all medical grade. And that's how, as the electricity shoots through those plates, that's how it's giving it that life back. And basically, it's creating an antioxidant naturally. There was, for those who are scientific, by the way, because, you know, some of the skeptics out there, if you want to look up the scientific name of this, you can either look up electrolyzed reduced water or dissolved molecular hydrogen gas. Ooh. Those.
That excites me as well.
I know. For most people, they're just like, oh my gosh, just tell me it's going to help me with my pain and my energy and my weight loss. That's all I care about. But, you know, there's always that one super scientific person. And so that since hydrogen gas is a gas, right, it depletes really, really, really quickly. So as soon as you put it in your glass or a gallon container, that's how I give away the samples. You've got 2 to 3 days max before it just starts to deplete, just like a cold pressed juice. The enzymes and the antioxidants start dying off, and then it just becomes, vitamins in a cup, and
Absolutely. Just on the point about the name you just gave, reduced electrolyzed water or dissolved molecular hydrogen gas.
Yes, I know.
There are PubMed articles on this, aren't there?
Yes.
So PubMed meaning medical journals.
Yes.
And there's all these studies that show the effectiveness of this water. I've also heard it called reduced molecular hydrogen.
Yeah.
It's sorry.
Well, science. There's so much science we could.
But the point I was making was there's medical journals behind the effectiveness of this water, which anyone can go and have a look at.
See, this has been it's been in Japanese hospitals for 40 years.
Yeah, because they're Japanese made, of course.
Yeah. And they are so holistic minded. They always try to find the root cause rather than just treat the symptom, right? And so there's been studies done for the last 40 years, but in 2007 was probably the most pertinent study that was done, showing that this actual antioxidant that's in it has been proven to be the most powerful free radical oxidation killer than anything else, more than acai berry, more than blueberries, more than anything we've heard of these huge ORAC, huge antioxidant value. The reason is because it's a tiny, tiny molecule. It's gas. It's hydrogen gas is one of the tiniest little molecules. And because it's contained in water. So water is what gets into our bones and our tissues, right? And you cannot even if you ate 500 pounds of blueberries, they wouldn't get into your tissues without the right water.
That'd be a lot of sugar.
Yeah, that would be a lot of sugar as well, yes. And so this tiny little molecule of this antioxidant is contained in the water. And so this is why people can feel a difference even at the deepest level. I'm not going to say names of health issues because I don't want to make any medical claims, but problems with nerves and muscles at the deepest level. The other thing that people really notice is the better hydration. So when I was saying it hydrates better, let's say you were to drink this huge glass of water and then you try to get up and run around,
pushing around in your stomach. Yeah,
it feels all slushy and bloated in your stomach. With this water now that I've had the last 6 years, it doesn't do that. I feel like it just absorbs right away and I don't get that bloated, slushy feeling. That's like the first thing people usually notice.
Yeah.
Even health nuts.
Yeah, and the skin. So you just said 6.5 years ago, you started drinking this 6.5 years ago, and you pretty much stopped what you were doing and you've been selling these machines ever since, haven't you?
Yes.
I want the world to have these.
Yes, I was on a mission.
And I think you told me a year or so ago that maybe you sold like 900 of these or something. And 2,000
of them. I'm over 2,000.
Wow. So I know you can't make claims. Mm-hmm. and I know you can't. You've got to be very careful with any claims you make.
Yes.
Can you just tell me? You told me some great, incredible stories of how people have healed their bodies. Let's be careful how we say this. People have had tremendous results healing their bodies when drinking this water to support them. Yeah. So I think you've mentioned a few people have healed their cancers like very, very quickly. And you're not the only person I know who said this when drinking this water. There's lots of other people I know who have Kangen businesses and they've had similar results as well. Could you tell us a few stories of how people have healed their bodies like quickly?
Well, here's what I'll say, because I do have to be really careful, because lately there's just been so much, FDA, stuff. What I will say is, I won't use the C word since it's so,
Yeah.
but any kind of itis,
Yeah.
right? Because anything that you're labeled with that ends in itis is inflammation, right?
Yeah.
And in the root cause of, most people should know this stuff already, but not everyone does. The root cause of your health issue is not because it was hereditary. It's not because, oh, my grandma had arthritis and my grandma had this, and so I'm going to get this. The hereditary aspect is just where the inflammation goes in your body. So like my grandma had endometriosis, and so did I, right? My grandma had colon cancer. I've had some irritable bowel issues in my past, right? So it's, but now I don't have either one of those issues because I have reduced the inflammation and toxins in my system.
Amazing.
So I'm not saying that, oh, this or that will cure, right? But what happens is, if you can decrease that oxidation, right, the free radical damage and the inflammation, your body's like, I can start working properly. I can, of course you need your good vitamins and nutrient minerals and everything as well. But typically when it's so high on oxidation and free radical damage and inflammation, it's just surviving. It can barely even think about healing itself.
Absolutely.
So, anything you've heard the ends in itis, I've seen people get better.
You've just triggered a few things. Like my head just went crazy then. So first thing, the hereditary thing.
Yes.
When we hear, like, if our parents had X, Y, and Z, it really doesn't matter because we can override those genes. There's different types of genes. There's the committee. There's like the dictatorship genes, and we have no other option but to live those genes. And then there's like a committee, and that committee we can completely override through food, because food is epigenetic, and epigenetic means you can override a predisposition to getting something by what you put in your mouth, and also how you move your body, how you manage emotions. So this is something that I think is very misunderstood among the masses, that we can completely override a genetic predisposition to getting something by what we put in our mouth.
Absolutely.
And obviously the water is a massive, massive helper in that, because it's got so many antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties in it, of course, with all the veggies and everything else. There was something else that I thought about just then. I can't remember what it was you said, but we're talking about the nutrients. You've got to get these nutrients into your body. Our cells, we're made of like 32 odd trillion cells. And in order for those cells to thrive, we need oxygen, water, nutrients, and the ability to eliminate waste.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The number one reason for chronic disease is under-oxygenation of cells, which triggers inflammation as well.
Yes.
Because many people aren't moving anymore. We're sedentary, and we're using like that much of our lungs, the top third section of our lungs, negating to use, the bottom two, neglecting.
I'm using that much of my lungs because I got huge.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. You put on some weight again.
There's a baby in there.
Yeah. Amazing. So, and so going back to these four things, we're often under-oxygenated because no one's moving with sedentary lives these days. And the water that we're drinking is contaminated. So we're not getting the number 2 life fuel into our cells because it's loaded with drugs and chemicals and toxins, and it's dead.
Yes.
And then the nutrients that we're having are largely, by the time the vegetables have arrived on our plates, they're pretty nutrient depleted. And then we go and cook them and we zap all the nutrients out of them. Exactly. Even if you have we've got to make such a conscious effort to get all these nutrients into our system now. And if we're, eating foods out of season, imported from countries all over the world, to get all the nutrients from our food is becoming more and more of a challenge. And then the last thing, ability to eliminate waste. Well, moving is a big thing, and breathing is a big thing to eliminate waste. The lymphatic system requires for us to move, requires the body temperature to raise slightly. and for us to breathe and eliminate from skin, etc. And because we're not moving, that doesn't really happen either, which is why I love yoga. Anyway, I go off topic, but I wanted to just touch on those 4 things that the human cells need. And number two life fuel is water.
Literally.
And we're drinking contaminated water.
I mean, they you can live without food for a long time, but you can't live without water for very long. And then oxygen, of course, you said is number 1. I mean, you can't live without for longer than a couple minutes, right? But it is, your body's 75% water, and so I think so many people get so laser focused on, okay, well, I'm eating my 80% veggies, and I'm eating organic, and they're just like, so it is, and then they'll go and they'll grab a bottled water and not even look at like, oh, I have a documentary. If anyone's like super health nut, go watch a documentary called Tapped, Tapped. You will never want to touch a bottled water again in your life after you watch this. They'll go, all a bottled water is tap water that's maybe been through something as like a Brita filter, or like, a very cheap filter that doesn't even get everything out. And they think, they're just thinking, oh, well, at least it's not tap water, right? And then you don't even have to factor in the fact that those plastic bottles were shipped here from somewhere else in the heat, and
leaching all the chemicals. And
plastic is leaching the chemicals, and a lot of the really smart health-oriented people out there have gotten the home filtration, systems and stuff like that. And that is definitely the number 1 thing I recommend if you don't have what we're talking about, the Kangen electrolyzed reduced water, but it's still dead. And even health nuts who have been drinking the purified water for years usually see a difference by having more of a living, quote unquote living water.
Yeah, I think last time, the results that you've got over the last 6.5 years is just off the charts amazing. I mean, the results people have got from drinking this water to help them heal their bodies is off the charts amazing. I think you mentioned fibromyalgia before, and I think I was watching one of your videos, testimonial videos, I think that fibromyalgia was mentioned there as well.
Yeah, anything that's, because your body's inflamed, and your body is and inflammation, actually, I heard this the other day, in and of itself is not a bad thing, because your body's trying to heal something, right? It's inflaming because it's trying to take care of something. But then it's overcompensating, and that's how we get overinflamed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a healthy immune response.
Right.
It's like your body's reaction to what it perceives as an attack on it, kind of defending the immune system. Right.
Yeah. And I know you're going to put a link in the comments, but if people watch the video that I made, you'll see other ways that this can help you, like removing the pesticides from your produce.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
And all the other really cool things. It's very visual, so I know you're gonna have them watch that as well. Yeah. And maybe for anybody that tuned into this and that goes to your link, maybe we'll do some sort of special, something. Maybe give away a free filter if they, free replacement filter if they get their system with you. And well, I know we were working on which link. We'll put it in the comments at some point.
It'll be called vitalitysecretbook.com/water.
/water. That's pretty easy to remember. That's your
water.
Water. My little 3-year-old girl, she was calling water Wagger with a G.
Brilliant.
And her aunt told her, no, it's water. Like, use a T. And so now she says, Mom, I need Kangen water. Like like her T is so strong now.
Amazing. Good girl. She's
Mommy, I have 8.5 Kangen water.
She's learning actual English.
Right? It's so cute.
Nice. I just realized we've been talking for like 40 minutes.
A long time. Well, we could do a sequel to this. Like, if a lot of people start asking questions, maybe we can do like a question video, or I could maybe even bring a few people on that it's helped, and different things like that. And or maybe I can, next time I can do a cool little visual of pulling the pesticides off your produce, or just do something fun.
Yeah.
Just give some variety. But yeah, but I think, you and I's heart is our mission is to help people see that you really can help your body heal itself. You just got to know what to give it.
100%. Yeah.
So
should we just say, if anyone has any questions, they can contact either of us and hit the link below the video.
Yeah, if for some reason the link's not working, they can message us. But I know you're going to put a good link in there. That way they can see more, learn more.
That video that you've done is amazing. It's like 10 minutes long, isn't it? 9.5.
I made that because everything that was out there was so old, and we needed like a modern, hip way to explain this to people, so yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's concise. It's, loads of jam-packed with amazing information. So
and I am welcome also to any skeptical questions. People that are like, oh, well, is it the same as this, and this, or tell me more, because 6.5 years, I've heard it all. My big thing I will say is, if you Google it, do not fall for a knockoff. There are a bunch of knockoffs that were made in Korea, and they come up with these fancy names, and oh boy, their sales copy on their websites is so convincing. But my husband has actually purchased 8 different ones of these knockoff systems.
Wow.
Because we're so dedicated to making sure that we can get people the best one at the best price. And so he bought 8 different ones, broke them apart, then broke apart one of ours and showed the insides and the quality. And it's basically like buying a disposable camera or, something versus something that will last your whole life.
Yeah.
And the factory in Korea is a refrigeration making company, where ours is an actual medical Japanese facility. It's just so funny. So that's my main thing, is just don't fall for a knockoff. But other than that, come ask any health questions. You and I also love helping people know like how to eliminate the inflammatory foods and, all that stuff too. So any questions you have, we're here to help. Yeah.
Ask away. Thank you, Ashley. Is there anything else you'd like to add other than that?
Well, I know you had mentioned that we might let people know. So because the way our company works, you can earn a referral through referring friends without having to do a business like how I do.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah, so if they refer people, they can get a thank you affiliate type commission check, and it just helps them reimburse their investment. And they're also spreading the word. I think within 8 referrals, you've already earned back your entire investment.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just on that point, I think if someone gets results like you've got, you're going to want to share it with people.
Oh, you can't help it.
You can't. You just want everyone you know and love to have one of the same machines, and you don't feel bad about selling them one.
Oh, not at all. I used to feel so bad. Of course, my grandma, I gave her my commission back. I'm like, oh, grandma, like here, but I used to give all my clients my commission back because I was so worried. I just wanted them to have it. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can't make a living this way. I'm going broke again. I don't want to be broke again. So I decided this is a very honorable way to make a living, is doing something you believe in. So everyone should be doing something they believe in.
100%.
So, okay, well, my computer just said it might die.
Okay. All right.
I'll look forward to questions that anybody has, and you let me know the link, and I'll post it in my comments too.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Neil. Inflammation King.
Inflammation Queen.
Talk to you later.
Sharing. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.